content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
You gotta have the back. You gotta learn how to give them the back, man. But anyway, what's good, man? I'm GG. And you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers, man. Straight up. And before I get things started like I always do, man, I want to give a shout out to all the haters out there. How the haters doing? Hope y'all having a good evening. Peace to y'all. And if you haven't done so already, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification button so you can stay on top of what's going on here on the Green Gorilla channel. And like I always do, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel. Oh, what he had, asshole. Shout out to him, man. He said that intro is GG's Batman-like theme. See him switching lanes in the old SS Camaro to this. Show you right. Thank you for the donation, my brother. Appreciate that. But before I get things started like I always do, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel. You feel me? So, shout out to Dar, Lord Hamal, Brotherly Love 215, Lee Ways, Michael Ross, Vincent Lindsay, Michael Pierce, Beautiful Trauma, Quiz the Poet, and Black Wizard. Big up! Big up to Jazz Deck, Shadow Observer, J. Cleveland Green, Sugar T, Artisan MC, Big Said, Nasiana, Kyle J. Sura, Kareem, Troy Warren, and Blacksword 404. Big up. Big up to Jeff R., Mrs. KP Bailey, Cutting Up with the Jones, Show Me, Ricky Dawson, Alan Wiley, The Face, Mantis on Break, Electrician 480, Life of Commerce, Apex Prowler, Julius Ferguson, and True 7360. Big up. Big up to Herbert Lewis, D. Scott, Marvin Evans, A. Wilson's Ghost, Rogus Son, L. Fry, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., and Jay Hope, man. Big up. Big up to L. Fry, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed. I said that shit already, man. Mark Holt, John J., The IDP Expressions, Afro Troop TV, Adam Tahuti, BGS Ibmore, Ignatz Mouse, Brian Peaks, Papa Didas, Scott Haywood, Black Uru Strikes, Dr. Treat 33, Leroy Honeycook and Broken Blade, Supertech, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, K. Ron S. Big up. Big up to Anthony Davis, Donnell 360, Seven Coast Dojo, Pulpit 28, Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Patricia Colley, Greg, Barry Little, Mr. Valentino, Jason Hales, Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Cameron 87, Doc LaRock, and Mark Swift. Big up. Big up to Odd Collar, Donna Watts, hiphop.ca TV, and Coach Hotel. Big up. Big up to Old Soul Chief, Mr. Blue Collar, Barnolas, I'm Just Jules, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, ML Law, Universal 178, and Rasheed Barnes. Big up. Big up to Aaron Smith, DH, Beware the Revelator, Gold Professor, and Aaron Infinite. And I can't forget my brothers in heaven, man. Force Windu, David Curl, and Kevin Samuels. Big up to all them, man. Straight up. And on the Patreon side, I can't forget Dr. Ben Vincent, Charles Fontentot, I Am the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Lamont Latimer, William Joyner, Rufus Winfield, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Jason Warren, Anu 219, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Adrian Hicks, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, and the Sangwa. Big up. Y'all deserve a round of applause, man. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel. Thank you for helping me to keep things going and growing. Shout out to all y'all, man. And if you are wondering about the ways in which you can support the Green Gorilla channel, well, one such way is a membership. So consider that. Here's how you do it, man. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely. Straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we back. You know who I am. I'm GG.
Patriarchy is a word that scholars, and in particular feminist scholars, use to describe the ways that the world is organized by ideas about gender, and in particular ideas about men and women.
Yeah, I ain't want that shit to pop up. My bad. Patriarchy. Speaking of patriarchy, do I have a dad? Oh, man. Speaking about patriarchy, do I have a dad, man? So, sorry about the little hiccups there, man. But, I ain't clear my stream deck out before I got started. My bad. But speaking of patriarchy, do I have a dad? We already know what the real is, man, in the black community, man. It's a lot of fatherlessness out there. It's a lot of fatherlessness out there, man. And there's consequences to it, if you didn't know. But regardless, I got a clip, and I want to show this clip. And, I want to register your opinions on this issue, man, and this matter here. So I'm going to leave an invite in the chat section. Let me post that real quickity-dickety. There it is. Just in case you want to weigh in on this. But I got a little clip, like I said. I want you to see it, and I want you to tell me what you think about it. Here it go.
What'd you say?
Do I have a dad?
Why do you ask that?
I don't know, but do I have one?
Of course you do.
What's his name again?
His name is Tyrell.
Tyrell?
Mm-hmm.
Mom, does he know I'm really smart, or does he not?
I don't think he knows.
Why? Ever since I tell him I'm really good.
What do you mean?
Tyrell.
What about?
Like, if I tell him I'm really good, he will trust us, I think.
Jakai, it's not about that. Sometimes adults, even though they're big people, like even though they're adults, they don't do the right thing all the time. And so some dads don't do the right thing, and some moms don't do the right thing, but
So you saw it. It's a clip of a little boy, man, asking his mother, does he have a dad? Do I have a dad? Well, the truth is, what you actually have, to be perfectly honest, is a sperm donor. Uh-oh! What you have is a sperm donor. Because if you had a dad, you would know your dad. It's sad, Yes, it is sad. It's sad. And like my man Nathan Lopez says, it's extremely unfortunate. It is extremely unfortunate. But you heard the woman's rationale as she sat there and explained to her son, why it is the case that the father is not involved. She went on to say, sometimes grown-ups don't do the right thing. Sometimes men don't do the right thing. At least she had the gumption. At least she had the gall to say, sometimes the moms don't do the right thing. So at least I give her credit in that regard. But the way this whole thing is set up, man, I want you to watch it one more time, man. Look at the shame that's put on the men here. And, like in the captions with the woman who put this post on Instagram, look at the shame that she's trying to put out there. Check it out now. Look at the shit. Just check it out. One more again, man. One more round.
What'd you say?
Do I have it, Dad?
Why do you ask that?
I don't know, but do I have one?
Of course you do.
What's his name again?
His name is Tyrell.
Tyrell?
Mm-hmm.
Mom.
Now, how you don't know your daddy name, boy? The boy is almost 4 or 5 years old.
I don't think he knows.
Why? Ever since I tell him I'm really good.
What do you mean?
Tyrell.
What about?
Like, if I tell
What
him
about him?
I'm really good, he will trust us, I think.
Jakai,
If he knew he was good, he would trust us.
it's not about that. Sometimes adults, even though they're big people, like even though they're adults, they don't do the right thing all the time. And so some dads don't do the right thing and some moms don't do the right thing, but
Sometimes dads don't do the right thing and sometimes moms don't do the right thing. But what's the right thing to do? That's my question. What's the right thing to do? Here's a little boy, man. He wants to know his daddy. That's a parent from the clip. He wants to know his father. And her explanation is, well, big people, sometimes they don't do the right thing. Now, here's the killing part of all of this. We live in a culture right now where fatherlessness is taken like very lightly. Who cares if you got a daddy in the household or not? The reason I say this, man, I'm going back. You done seen it before, but you're about to see it again. Here you go.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so it really, male figures not substantially important in the family.
So there you have it. There you have it right there. Now you can talk about the man not being there, But when you have women who have the mindset that having a male in the family is not substantial for the household, then what do you get? If you feel that way and you got a culture of women who feel that way, as a man, what are you supposed to do? But I tell you this, before you even do anything, I'm telling you right now, wrap it up. Wrap it up, man. That's how you break the cycle. Vet the woman you're dealing with, man. I know it sounds nice, it feel nice to have, a nice little something you lay up with, smash real quick. But at the end of the day, if you get X'd out of the equation, and let's tell the truth about this, man, a lot of people are acting as if men are just not, taking responsibility. And that's all that is happening here. And I'm here to tell you that's a lie. It's not just men deciding that they're not going to be there. It's a lot of ladies out there who've decided, I don't need a man. I can start a family on my own, do it the way I want to do it. Don't have to have a man around because the man is going to what? Hold me down. And I ain't talking about how we say in the ghetto, hold me down. I'm talking about hold me down as prevent me from being able to achieve my goals and accomplish market-based success. That's the kind of hold me down we talking about. We ain't talking about I don't need a man holding me down. You saw it. You see it. Now, you can't say that this kind of mindset is not pervasive in the black community. You can't say that. Again, I've already left. If you want to comment on this, feel free to do so. But my whole thing is, what's the consequences for the children? What are the repercussions for the children, especially the little boys who are looking for their fathers? That boy should at least know his father's name, man. What the fuck? You damn near 6, 7 years old and you don't know your father's name, man. And you can tell the little boy wants his father around to some degree because he's like, hey, do you think if he knows that I'm good, he'll trust us? So the little boy already has the insight to understand that father, we don't know the situation. I can't really speak to it. I can't really speak to it. But the reality, though, is the boy knows something's amiss. He knows that the dad ain't around, and for some reason he ain't around because of an issue related to trust. There's a trust issue there. At least that boy was able to pull that out of his intuitive faculties and to understand there's a lack of trust. And in reality, let's just face it, in the black community, amongst men and women, there is a terrible lack of trust. It is. And the consequences and the repercussions are that children are left without father figures, man. They left without their real fathers around, helping to guide them, to nurture them, and to help them get through the terrible shit that they're going to have to get through as black boys growing into men in this country, man. Real talk. So what are the real consequences of this? Got some info right here for you. Okay? I didn't just come to talk shit and to, bash people or whatever the case may be. I came here to kick the facts. So here are the facts. There are consequences to fatherlessness. And we're going to look at them. This is from fathers.com, but the quotes are pulled directly from government documents and scholarly journals. Okay? The consequences of fatherless. Some fathering advocates would say that almost every social ill faced by America's children is related to fatherlessness. 6 are noted here. There's also an infographic. I ain't going to show that right now. But anyway, as supported by the data below, children from fatherless homes are more likely to be poor, become involved in drug and alcohol abuse, drop out of school, and suffer from health and emotional problems. Boys are more likely to become involved in crime, and girls are more likely to become pregnant as teens. Those are the facts. So let's look at the first fact, poverty. Children in father-absent homes are almost 4 times more likely to be poor. 4 times more likely to be poor. In 2011, 12% of children in married couples were living in poverty, compared to 44% of children in mother-only families. This is from the U.S. Census Bureau. Children's Living Arrangements and Characteristics, March 2011, Table C8, Washington, D.C., 2011. Children living in female-headed households with no spouse present had a poverty rate of 47.6%, over 4 times the rate in married couple families. That's from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Okay? Issue brief, information on poverty and income stats, September 12, 2012. Okay? Then they got a little graph here. I'm not really worried about showing it, but you got the married couples. Let me make this a little smaller so it'll all fit into view. Got married couples in the red, female-headed households in the blue. Okay? It is what it is. Number 2. And I'm going to bring you in, AL. I'm just going to go through this because it's really brief. Okay? So just hold your horses. 2, drug and alcohol abuse. This is your Pookie and Ray Ray syndrome for all you Pookie and Ray Ray haters out there. Which I think is misguided, but you know, the whole point is drug and alcohol abuse is exacerbated by fatherlessness. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services states fatherless children are at a dramatically greater risk of drug and alcohol abuse. Again, that's the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, National Center for Health Stats, Survey on Child Health, Washington, D.C., 1993. There is significantly more drug use among children who do not live with their mother and father. The source of this, John Hoffman, The Community Context of Family Structure and Adolescent Drug Use, The Journal of Marriage and Family. Issue 64, May 2002, pages 314 to 330. Number 3, physical and emotional health. A study of 1,977 children aged 3 and older living with a residential father or father figure, which I think is Uncle Daddy bullshit, but you know, hey, found that children living with married biological parents had significantly few externalizing, meaning acting out, and internalizing, holding psychopathology in. They had fewer externalizing and internalizing behavioral problems than children living with at least one non-biological parent. The source, S.L. Holford, Residential Father, Family Type, and Child Well-Being. Investment versus Selection. And the journal name is Demography, issue 43, pages 53 to 78. Okay? Children of single-parent homes are more than twice as likely to commit suicide. Twice as likely to commit suicide. Data from 3 waves of the Fragile Family Studies was used to examine the prevalence and effects of mothers' relationship changes between birth and age 3 on their children's well-being. Children born to single mothers show higher levels of aggressive behavior than children born to married mothers. Living in a single mother household is equivalent to experiencing 5.25 partnership transitions. Damn. Peep game. Living in a single mother household is equivalent to experiencing 5.25 partnership transitions. That's the cock carousel everybody's talking about. She's gotta have it. Can't stop the happiness of mom. Educational achievement. Children in grades 7 through 12 who have lived with at least one biological parent, youth that experience divorce, separation, or non-union birth reported lower grade point averages than those who have always lived with both biological parents. Children living with their married biological father tested at significantly higher levels than those living with a non-biological father. Source: K.H. Tillman, Family Structure Pathways and Academic Disadvantage Among Adolescents in Step Families. Father involvement in schools is associated with a higher likelihood of a student getting mostly A's. This was true for fathers in biological parent families, for stepfathers, and for fathers heading single-parent families. So the male in the house makes a difference, which, one of the ladies said, he's inconsequential. I don't want the commitment. It's a lot of work. 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. Damn. 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. Fatherless children have more trouble academically, scoring poorly on tests of reading, math, and thinking skills. Now, might this have something to do with the poor educational outcomes of black boys? Maybe, perhaps. Children from father-absent homes are more likely to be truant from school, more likely to be excluded from school, more likely to leave school at age 16, and less likely to attain academic and professional qualifications in adulthood. That's Edward Kruk, The Vital Importance of Paternal Presence in Children's Lives. Here we got some more Pookie shit. We breeding Pookies. Adolescents living in intact families are less likely to engage in delinquency than their peers living in non-intact families. Compared to peers in intact families, adolescents in single-parent families and step-families were more likely to engage in delinquency. This relationship appeared to be operating through differences in family processes, parental involvement, supervision, monitoring, and parent-child closeness between intact and non-intact families. That's Stephen DeMuth and Susan L. Brown. Okay, family structure, family processes, and adolescent delinquency. The significance of parental absence versus parental gender. Okay, a study using data from the National Longitudinal Study of Adolescent Health explored the relationship between family structure and risk of violent acts in neighborhoods. The results revealed that if the number of fathers is low in a neighborhood, then there is an increase in acts of teen violence. The statistical data showed that a 1% increase in the proportion of single-parent families in a neighborhood is associated with a 3% increase in an adolescent's level of violence. In other words, adolescents who live in neighborhoods with lower proportions of single-parent families and who report higher levels of family integration commit less violence. That's C. Noster and D.A. Hain. Community context, social integration into family and youth violence. Next factoid. Children aged 10 to 17 living with two biological or adoptive parents were significantly less likely to experience sexual assault, child maltreatment, other types of major violence, and non-victimization type of adversity, and were less likely to witness violence in their families compared to peers living in single-parent families and step-families. A study of 109 juvenile offenders indicated that family structures significantly predicts delinquency. That's Connie Bush, Ronald Mullis, and Ann K. Mullis. The differences in empathy between offender and non-offender youth. The Journal of Youth and Adolescence. Sexual activity and teen pregnancy. A study using a sample of 1,409 rural southern adolescents, 851 females and 558 males, aged 11 through 18 years, investigated the correlation between father absence and self-reported sexual activity. The results revealed that adolescents in father absence homes were more likely to report being sexually active compared to adolescents living with their fathers. Being raised by a single mother raises the risk of teen pregnancy. Marrying with less than a high school degree and forming a marriage where both partners have less than a high school degree. So there you have it. Those are the consequences of fatherlessness. And to recap it all, going back, children from fatherless homes are more likely to be poor, to become involved in drug and alcohol abuse, to drop out of school, and suffer from health and emotional problems. They're more likely to get pregnant and to be a trouble in the neighborhood. Those are the facts. Now, there are some people who want to downplay this related to the liberal idea that everybody needs to be free and that women are under extreme stress and duress because of the patriarchal and, the abusive, sexist men that exist in their lives or who are the father of their children. So basically, an excuse has been made to eliminate the father from the family on the account that the male, more likely than not, is going to be violent and abusive to the mom and to the children. Now that's the narrative that's been put out there. But really, all of this shit comes down to smashing the fucking patriarchy. This is what this shit is about. That's a lot of consequences to take on for the sake of saying, I don't need no man. That's a lot to take on.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father.
Yeah, I'm showing it again.
One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so, you know, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
So there you have it. A.L. Evans, I'm bringing you on the stream. What's cracking, my bro?
Bro, I've been listening, and all I could think about was, I knew my daddy's name at 7 years old, but I didn't know my daddy. For the simple fact she wouldn't let me meet him because she kept lying and saying that he raped her. He didn't rape her. She chose to mess with a married man and didn't have the titties to let her parents know the truth. So the first thing she did when her father came home from Vietnam, August 29, 1973, the day I was born, and he seen me, was I was raped. So for the first 7 years, I thought my father was my grandfather. To be truthfully honest with you. And I'm running around here, and he told me, son, I ain't your daddy. Ask your mama who your daddy is. And so for 2 years, from 6 to 7, I was going strong. Where my daddy? Who my daddy? Who my daddy? I was just getting on her nerves, every time she would come by her own parents' house, because she wasn't taking care of me. Her parents was. Until she was I got on her nerves. Your daddy's name is Bernard Shepard. So I said, okay, where's he at? You go find him. I'm going to make you track him down. I'm going to stay on your ass. I got to know. And she finally relented, called him. I got to spend 1 day with him. 1 day. This man was so scared to take me home to my grandparents' house because he knew that my grandfather wanted to kill him off that lie. And he actually told me, he said, man, I didn't rape your mama. Your mama met me through her homegirl and her homeboy. And her homeboy was my best friend. And I'm like, what? And I didn't see my daddy again till 2 days before I graduated from high school, 1992. This is the type of shit we have to deal with, my nigga. Real shit. These women ain't nothing but liars. All they do is lie to cover their ass, because all they want is what's best for them. What's in the interest of them? Does it make me feel good? Does it make me happy? Who go check me, boo? It's all about me. You can't tell me nothing. This shit been going on since the late 60s all the way to now. They been running the same funky ass playbook, but then trying to tell these kids, your daddy ain't no good. No, you done something, or you fucked up, or you said something to that man to make that man not want to be around.
Well, like
or you slept with somebody that you had no business sleeping with. They hypergamous. But I digress.
Well, hey, man, have you been in subsequent contact with your father?
I actually, Green Gorilla, we made peace with each other. That day, I got back into. I went searching for him 2 days before my high school graduation, and I had him for 5 years after that. He passed when I turned 25. Him and my grandfather passed the same year, 6 months apart. That's why I wear all this long hair on my head, because both of them had naturally curly, just my granddad had salt and pepper hair, and my daddy just had curly wavy hair. We had 3 different kinds of Indian in our family, so I just got the good hair. But when they both passed, and the way they passed, and when I see them, it traumatized me so much. I said to myself, my tribute to them would be, I'm never cutting my hair again. I'm as masculine get, but I got long hair. But I got long hair because of my people. But you know, yeah, we made amends, and you know, we had one falling out though. I had to beat his ass, but we recovered from that. You know, because I was 21, and I'm trying to go visit him and see him and spend some time with him. He getting out for working hard at work, being an electrician, and I come through there and I had my homeboys ride with me. Mind you, I'm in my car. I bought and paid for. He kind of wanted to go off. Hey, what you doing with all these hooligans? Number one, they ain't hooligans. Two of them my birth cousins, and one is my teammate that I played ball with in high school. So wherever I go, he go. Don't call my friends that. One thing led to another. He come outside with a pistol. He drew down on me, Mr. Green. Point blank range. But don't feel bad. My granddaddy drew down on me too. Shit, it's just how it is in the South. Hey, they got a thin line, real grown men. If they tell you something, that means they don't play. And if you want to cross them, shit, they too old to fight. They gonna put some hot lead in your ass. And he tried to put some hot lead in my ass. I took the gun from him, threw it off the balcony, beat his ass, went in the house with him, sat down, we chopped it up, we got past it, and never had another incident again.
Damn, so you got into a fight with your own father, man?
He had to whoop his ass. He pulled a gun on me now. I whooped his ass, but I couldn't whoop old SL's ass. He was 6'3", 280 pounds. I'm 5'7", 190. That's just a total mismatch.
Man, that's just a tragedy all across the board, though. First of all, like I myself personally, I couldn't bring myself to put my hands on my father, whether I knew him or not. But, I wouldn't, but also on the other hand, I would never pull a gun on my son. You understand what I'm saying? So,
it was an incident. I had to defend myself real quick and fast. I didn't think he was I didn't know if he was or he wasn't. All I know is remember the stories they're telling me, your daddy crazy. He done stabbed a man 4 or 5 times in the nightclub trying to holler at you. Have mama. So when he go left, he go left. Don't play with him. And when I seen him, he come out with that 38 snub nose. I was like, what the hell? So you gonna pull his gun on me? Well, you're not listening to me, man. I hurry up, grabbed that gun from him, took it out, threw it off the balcony, and commenced off. Man, left and right in them rig. Oh, so you is my son. You crazy too. Yes.
Well, hey man, y'all I'm speechless related to that. And I'm never at a loss of words, but that kind of leaves me speechless, bro.
But yeah, I just had to come on. When I heard you say that about that little boy asking his mama, who's my daddy? And you said, it's a damn shame a 7-year-old don't even know his daddy's name. I mean, all the emotions just came back on me so fast. I was like, I got to say something. I wasn't just going to sit back in the cut and listen to you. But I was like, man, I say, somebody got to hear this. This ain't no fairy tale. This ain't no just stuff he putting there just to try to get your attention. This shit goes on every day in black men's lives who were adolescents a long time ago. This shit ain't stopped. This shit been going on since 65, 66, man. Ever since they got their liberation independence. And they decide they want to be able to kick it and go hang and be at the same shopping malls and shopping centers and stores with these white folks. Yeah, and these are boomers I'm talking about. I love boomers dearly, but these boomers started this, man. They wanted to integrate and mix. We was better when we were separated. But I digress.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate, man, that, like a lot of times, boys go astray. Girls go astray, too, when their dads ain't around to check them. It's something about that male presence that does create discipline and order, but the idea is that, okay, well, if you put the black man in the house, he's going to be patriarchal. He's going to be a control freak. He wants to be dominant and have power. But ultimately, I mean, what ends up happening is, we have women with full patriarchal power in the household, and we call it the gynocracy. A lot of people say that's a pejorative term we're throwing out there. I just think, hey, what you have is a female patriarchy. You got female daddies out there. That's what, I mean, the indication is they want to call themselves fathers on Father's Day. It just is what it is. But I want to do some housekeeping real quick, man. Shout out to my brother, Douglas Somerville. Thank you for the donation, brother.
You're not lying.
Thank you for the donation. Also, Martin Ukpai, an informed mind is a better mind. Got that from Coach Taylor. Appreciate your donation, bro. And also from BGS, I saw him hit me up with a $5 shot. Oh, but hold on, wait a minute. Kennard Farmer, he says, a Where Are They Now documentary with those young ladies from that clip would be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And I'm sorry, man, if you weren't able to hear it. I don't know how many people were able to hear it. I'm able to hear it. So there's no sound on the left side. It's on, that's how I recorded it. My bad. I'll probably go back and put a left and a right channel on it because I intend to keep showing the clip over and over. Because it's sad. Because the first excuse is all the time is that men don't want to be present in the lives of their children. But what often goes unsaid is that many of these women don't want to be with men. They don't have any obligation in their minds to have a man help them with parenting. They don't want to form lifelong bonds with men. That's not something that is a priority to them. But then the question is, well, what's the outcome for children? But there are some people who would say, well, you know, all of this talk about fatherless is really just hyperbolic. It really doesn't matter that much. You know, well, I was in a single parent family and I'm okay. We did just fine. Well, you're one of the ones who got lucky. One could argue. Why start yourself off or start your children off at a disadvantage when you don't have to? That's the question. Why not wait until you find a suitable partner that you know is going to stick with you for the long haul before you reproduce? And this is on men and women, though. It ain't just on women, because it takes two to tango. You can't have a kid by yourself unless you marry mother of Jesus. That's the only way, the Immaculate Conception, or unless you ISIS. That's the only way that happens. But it's something that both men and women are gonna have to take responsibility for. Now I know your hormones and your endorphins get kicked off when you're around somebody, you know, that momentary ephemeral sexual urge. But what are the consequences in the long run? That's the question. Shout out to BGS Boy, says support your scholar, pass the plate. Yeah, you know that's right, man. Pass the fucking plate, man. Stop playing with luck. Trying to give you good information here, man. But it's sad to see young boys, man, not having their dads around, man, and yearning for and really actually pining for the involvement of their fathers. It's sad to see. Because that's a little boy you saw. I'm going to show it one more time and then I'm going to sign off if nobody else want to kick in and have a conversation about this, but come on, man. That little boy was in pain, man. You know, emotional pain and discomfort, man, because he feels like his daddy don't love him, man. He feels like his daddy don't trust him. He don't trust his daddy don't trust his mother or him. The little boy thinks he's bad because his father's not around. So the problem is we have a cultural pattern. The pattern is one in which it celebrates and lionizes single motherhood, man. Call me misogynist if you want to. I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn. I'm going to keep speaking the truth, man. Shout out to P. Armor, man, for the cash app. And shout out to Teresha McCrae, man. Big up to y'all for the donation, man. Appreciate that. And shout out to Donovan Wood as well for the donation, man, on the cash app. Who's to blame? I'm asking the question, who's primarily to blame for this phenomenon? Well, to be quite honest, it's both parties. Takes two to tango. Better wrap it up, fellas. Straight up. AL, you got some last words you want to speak, man?
No, I'm good. GP, I just had to come on and share with you. I appreciate everything you do.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, man. I know that was a pretty traumatic experience for you, but I mean, you know, to be told, I mean, it's tragic, really. I mean, to be told that, you know, your father was a rapist, man. That's some crazy shit right there, man. That I've never heard of no shit like that, bro. That's something I've never heard in my life, bro. I just, I'm shocked by that, man. But I'm pretty sure, man, you found out the truth. And what does your mother say subsequently about this?
Oh, Gigi, she was the one who's been perpetuating the lie the whole damn time, and it wasn't until I started confronting her and getting the truth from my grandmother, my grandfather, then my father, and my half mom, the woman he was married to. Because mind you, he had 2 kids, and he had told her, hey, hey, I'll have a little fling with you, but I'm married. You know what I'm saying? So she knew going into it, he was married, he had a gal. All right. And on top of that, 2 kids. Why are you trying to keep this child? Why are you trying to force this man to leave his happy home, even though, men do what men do, because I'm grown now. So, who am I to say what they were doing back then was right or wrong? He was grown. It's not my place to say, but yet still, he gave you fair warning of what was up. You chose to want to mess with him because you was a homely plus-size girl who wanted some attention and was hiding the pain, when you just should have been listening to your mother and following her words and waiting on your father to get back from Vietnam. But see, what it was you knew wasn't no daddy in the house during your teenage years, you and your sisters, while y'all going to high school, so y'all wanted to be fast. This is how this fastness starts. And they were being fast before their time. See, her 2 older sisters, they were smart enough to go get married before they got knocked up, but not her. See, she just had to be that rebel. You know what I'm saying? She's suffering to this day. Because, like you said, mother, I refer to her as an egg donor. Nothing more, nothing less. I buried my mother and my father, my grandparents, the people who raised me, her parents. I don't have my father's gone. I don't even interact or deal with this woman. Because I ain't got time for lies. I ain't got time for the gynocracy. I ain't got time for the lies, guilt, insults, and shame, to feel the need to be right and think you go emasculate me every chance you get. She's a misandrist if I ever knew one. She misanderized every man she come in contact with. She even tried that on her father, but her father put them paws on her. You ain't finna do that in the house I pay bills in. You can get out.
That's just crazy, brother, man. I'm gonna say a prayer for you, man, because that's a crazy story, man. I'm here to tell you, bro. Man, that's some crazy shit right there, bro. I'm just keeping it.
The kicker part about it, G, is the day I started standing up for myself and I made my own family and I got ready to have my first child. She made it her life mission to get smoozy with my ex-wife. I call them the gold dust twins because they ain't shit. All they do is lie and manipulate. And she went about setting out to make sure to keep my daughter out of my life. My daughter spends more time with my egg donor and she's been under her thumb. At first it was my grandmother doing the job, but when she came down with Alzheimer's and dementia, my egg donor stepped in. I was too busy trucking over the road. And every time I would come into town and try to spend time with my kid, this lady would literally call the police on me every time I came into town. All kinds of lies. I got a domestic violence case on me, and I ain't never laid hands on this woman. That's why I don't mess with her. That's why I'm always in these spaces, and I'm pressing for these dudes to get their lives right. Do like you say, wrap it up, live for you, and quit trying to live for what these women, your mothers, got to say. Because 9 times out of 10, if you come from a single parent household, she wrecked her own life with the decision she made, because she ain't no home wrecker. Because she had to be married to be a home wrecker. I learned that from the Roger Report. So she's a life wrecker. When you have children out of wedlock and trying to think you go do what you want to do and can't be told nothing, you're a life wrecker. They wreck their lives with the decisions they make, and they want to carry their own kids down that same threshold and path because of these iniquities they laid down upon themselves that have to be passed on to the next generation. And that's why I'm up here 49 years August 29th. And I'm up here still trying to battle these iniquities that she done laid down upon me.
Well, man, you just keep the faith. You hear me, bro? I know that's a rough situation to deal with, man, but you know, damn. That's crazy, bro. Brother Teresha, man, welcome to the show, man. What's going on?
T Fitness.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? I just listening to the broadcast. Thank you once again for all the work you do. And I'm going to break it down and just thank my mother for always, even when my pops and her broke up, she made it a mission to make sure that we had crazy respect for my father, because he had immense love for us, so much love for us. Like just sharing this with the brothers in terms of public displays of affection. And this is real quick. We grew up in Harlem, so my father would always make us say publicly, my brother and I, my brother and my sister, that we loved each other in front of people. And my dad be across the street and he'd yell out, "I love you." He meant for us to yell back that that we loved him too. So he showed us a lot of love and support, and I think it made all three of us incredible parents through amazing odds. But I just want to break down before I bounce. I'm Tarache. I'm T Fitness, bro. So when you see,
I feel your T Fitness for you, bro. I get it.
Yeah. So, and that's it, man. You know, I'm happy. You know, I feel lucky, and I hope a lot of brothers out there, you know, will heal. Based on what this man said. I've heard a lot of stories like this before, and it's you know, it's heartbreaking, but you know, the brothers like this need to be heard, and these stories need to be brought up. But that's it, man.
For sure. Appreciate that, bro. So I wanna answer some questions real quick. Thank you, Mrs. Sunkiss, for your donation on the Cash App. She says, Green Gorilla, it seems like you were criticizing the woman's response to her son. In your opinion, what's the proper answer to that question? Look, I'm not saying that she answered the question, you know, incorrectly or in a bad way, but we didn't get an opportunity to see her whole conversation because the clip was cut short because there was a but after it. But at the end of the day, you know, the problem is not so much with, you know, the way she answered the question, but the problem is you got a boy who's past toddlerhood, who can speak and talk and who's going to school, who don't know who the fuck his daddy is. The boy is looking for his father. He don't even know his daddy's name. He don't know his daddy's name. And, you know, that to me is just, it's a tragedy. We already saw what the consequences of fatherlessness are. Now, it's always typical for a woman to blame fatherlessness on the man. Like Felicia Gray just did. It's cowardly to blame fatherlessness on mothers. Is it really? Is it really? Shall I show the clip one more time? Some of you say you can't hear it, but I can hear it perfectly fine. Let me show this shit one more time. I got to show it one more time, man. I got to.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility, And then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so, you know, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
So that's my answer to your question, to your statement. I mean, what is a man supposed to do? What the fuck is he supposed to do with women, girls like that? What is a guy supposed to do? She already stated, hey, look, I don't want to have a baby daddy around. Don't want him around. It's a terrible responsibility. It's a burden, and I'm going to be held down. If they old enough to fuck, as far as I'm concerned, they old enough to get their asses married. If they old enough to fuck, they old enough to get married. But now, this kind of mind state is pervasive. They ain't the only ones that think like this. It ain't just young girls thinking like this. That's my sentiment exactly. Don't sleep with them. That's my suggestion. Don't fuck with them. But what we ain't gonna do is just say all this shit has something to do with men desiring not to be around. I just showed a clip yesterday of a guy bringing food to his kid and the woman threw the shit on the sidewalk. Like, fuck it, if you ain't feeding all my kids, don't feed none of my kids. She threw the food on the sidewalk. So if you're dealing with women that got attitudes like this, and they calling the police, and they acting like assholes, and they feel like they don't need you around, why the fuck would you be around some shit like that? But see, men gotta start waking up and understanding. Look, bruh, only be around where you are valued. If you're not valued, get the fuck out of there and stay the fuck out of there. The problem is men don't know how to leave that shit alone. I already said it before. It takes two to tango. But what we ain't gonna do is call men cowards in this space. This is a problem that is affected and impacted by men and women. But it's exacerbated by the single parent phenomenon to begin with. Shall I go back to the data? Because this shit is a self-fulfilling, self-perpetuating kind of condition. It's self-perpetuating. Peep the game. Here's the facts. Let me go back to it. It's on page 2. Sexual activity in teen pregnancy. Being raised by a single mother raises the risk of teen pregnancy. Marrying with less than a high school degree and forming a marriage where both partners have less than a high school degree. A study using a sample of 1,400 rural Southern adolescents between 11 and 18 years investigated the correlation between father absence and self-reported sexual activity. The results revealed that adolescents in father absence homes were more likely to report being sexually active compared to adolescents living with their fathers. So we can talk about all this moral shit, all these choices and decisions, but the environment is a breeding ground for dysfunction. But if we say so, well, you can't say that because saying it in and of itself is a problem. It's attacking women. It's on men and women. First of all, you need to tell your sons if you have them, hey son, don't get that woman pregnant. Don't put the cart before the horse, because you're going to end up paying in the long run. At the end of the day. So that's my viewpoint on all this shit. But it's easy to blame the men and say it's something, it's the men. It ain't just the dudes, man. It's the women too. Because right now you got women out here like, fuck it, I'm going to get pregnant. And that's their goal. I'm going to get pregnant. I want to have a baby. I'm going to have me a baby. I want to be a mom. Well, don't you want to be married? No, don't want none of that shit. Don't want that. Just want to be pregnant. Just want a baby. Like it's a fucking dog or a cat or some shit like that. A kid ain't a fucking companion, man. They're the carriers of culture. They're supposed to be the maintainers of civilization. It ain't just an option, like, well, I'm just choose to be a mom. That's why in the past, it wasn't just people deciding to fuck and then they was going to have a family. What used to happen was people from different families would get to know people from the other family and arrange marriages and shit like that. All this marry for romance shit, it's a new phenomenon. Maybe I got to do a show on that. Now it's like going to the mall, picking a mate is like picking a pair of shoes out or some shit like that. I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to pick that one. All based on some dime store romance shit, Lifetime television shit. This is where we are now. It's like you can exchange partners like you can change clothes. So yeah, my advice to a young man, hey bro, don't get her ass pregnant, bro. I know the pussy good right now, but don't get her pregnant, dog. I don't have a son. I got girls. I'm gonna tell them, as I've been telling them, close your fucking legs. And if you insist on opening them, make sure he wear a condom and make sure you're on some fucking birth control. This shit ain't rocket science here, man. It don't take a rocket science to use birth control. And you don't have to use abortion as a prophylactic or, like an afterthought, a safety net. Mr. Blue Collar, shout out to you. He says, put in chips for my, our PhD. Appreciate that, bro. Art of Ivmore, big up to you, brother. Appreciate that. On the Cash App. Appreciate that. But look here, man. I've been here long enough. I ain't going to be here forever, man. Only thing I wanted to do was to show that clip. Actually, the clip was shared with me by the brother Admiral Smoke. My brother, man, he, basically sent that to me saying, dog, he was like, check this out. And I felt like it would be something to share with y'all that, you might get some sort of value out of it. you know? So it is what it is. Wrap it up, man. Unless you want to deal with, you know, your contribution to the pathology. Because kids don't come out of nothing. It takes two to tango. So as a man, in this space, I feel like men have always, to some degree or another, accepted responsibility for fatherlessness. But the issue is, you got women who feel like, fuck it, I can do this on my own. I don't need no man. I don't need a man. You hear that shit so much, it's become normalized. It's accepted. It's part of our culture now. It used to be a source of embarrassment. Now it's like, fuck it. This is the sexual liberation we all been waiting for, right? But everything has a consequence. Everything has a consequence, man. And we don't give a fuck what the consequences are as long as, you know, we get to do whatever it is we want to do. We have a semblance of freedom. But tell me, what's free about being poor? What's free about subjecting your children to more hardship than they got to go through? All because two adults can't actually get along. It ain't even perceived that having a kid now should be married in a union. It ain't even part of the culture no more. It ain't even part of the culture no more. Thank you, Ray Knowles. Appreciate that. Says Gigi would like to hear your thoughts on the baby formula shortage. The only mammals on the planet suffering from such a problem. Well, you know, hey man, I don't know shit about that, man. I don't know nothing about the baby formula shortage, man. I've never heard of it. But yeah, I would tell you young guys, wrap it up, man. Wrap it up. You don't want to have to deal with these problems. You don't want your son or your daughter out there basically having to fight against the whole system in an uphill fashion. What's the point? We all just doing whatever the fuck we want with no foresight, no planning, no structure, no ethos. We just out here fucking having a good time, funky good time, party. Every day is a party. Every day is a holiday. That's how we out here right now. Carefree. So, you know, it might sound like I'm being patriarchal. But fuck it though. Fathers are fundamental, man. They're necessary. They're requisite for the success and the nurturance of children just as much as women. You might have the equipment to give birth, but you ain't equipped to take care of all this shit on by yourself, man. You need men around. You might have the equipment to gestate and lactate, but you ain't got the motherfucking equipment to do all this on your own. That's the problem. And men who don't want to take care of their kids and want to be deadbeats, fuck them too. But thinking you could do it on your own, it's insanity, man. It's crazy. So anyway, man, having said all that, man, I'm about this joint, man. I might not be here tomorrow, but it be what it be. I'll holler at y'all on the next one, man. You feel me? Till that time, man, be peaceful, people. I'll holler at y'all, man.